Michel Barnier triggers no-deal Brexit planning, and Scotland gets rejected by EU politicians. Hello everyone and welcome to today's show. Michel Barnier has come up with a new deadline again. He's set himself another new random deadline, which is tomorrow, Friday. Apparently we only have 1 day left till both sides, the UK and the European Union, sign a trade deal. Otherwise, chaos, no deal. WTO Brexit will happen. So he's now set this deadline saying that we don't have enough time to go over the deal after signing it and ratify it. Well, that's a lie, because I know you guys can actually skip through a lot of things when it comes to your process. You can do it. But he's now panicked. He's gone around, called all the EU 27 ambassadors around Europe, all the other countries, had a meeting with them to say that I'm quite convinced that Boris Johnson and Lord Frost are not going to compromise, so you guys have to prepare for no deal Brexit. And so countries aren't happy. So according to obviously the sources in the Express, they're talking about how he keeps repeating the same lines, that the deadlock is over fisheries, level playing field and state aid rules. But that's your problem, European Union, because you don't even know what you want. On the one hand, you have Emmanuel Macron being obsessed with having access to UK waters. On the other hand, you have Angela Merkel and Germany, who all they care about is money and the control over the continent, because that's how they work. They want to centralize everything and standardize everything, and with their level playing field, because that's how Germany is. Bureaucracy. Not even surprised. But you can't have all these random demands from different corners with different priorities. That's why there's a deadlock. And now he's saying that there's only 1 day left, and we're going to talk about that. But before that, on Spectator TV, Andrew Neil's show, he had a guest, Wolfgang Munchau, who's the director of at Euro Intelligence, and he actually said that the whole problem is, obviously both sides could have managed these negotiations better, but it's because the European Union misjudged the UK's position.
There was talk, this could be the greatest free trade deal in history. The UK economy, the EU economy, in regulatory terms at the moment, they're totally aligned. There's the smoothest free trade between them of any parts of the world. So therefore, it shouldn't be that difficult, even though we are leaving, to move to a very ambitious free trade deal. Why has that not happened? And probably, I know people don't like to ask questions like this these days, but who's to blame?
Both sides are to blame. The EU misjudged the Brexit process from the start to the finish, and it is still misjudging it. It has played too much there was too much hope that the UK would extend the deadline in July, which it could have done. They didn't believe Johnson when he said he would not extend. They did not expect to be in the position that they are now, that Johnson hasn't folded yet, which this is something they expected, because the assumption in Brussels has been the UK needs this deal more urgently than the EU. For that reason, the UK has an interest in conceding some of the points. The EU has made some unreasonable demands in the beginning, like asking or like demanding that the ECJ continues to play a role, asking the UK to align its regulatory policies on labour markets, environmental standards, and on state aid to the EU. These negotiations have brought a lot of progress on these issues. So the differences that we have now in these negotiations, they are still important differences, but they are not the differences between good or bad.
Well, that's certainly a fair point. And City AM are now talking about, as I said earlier, that the European Union side, Michel Barnier's team, want to finish the talks tomorrow, Friday. No idea why. Because they did say before that if they manage to sign a deal 2 or 3 weeks before the end of December, there should be enough time. Now they're saying, no, it should be basically Friday the 4th of December. So now they're trying to push. And it's interesting because the European Union side are saying that we're in the right, we're ready, we're waiting for the UK. UK have already proposed their draft. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for. Ireland is getting involved, as usual. Their foreign minister, Simon Coveney, who's now said today that it's a time to hold our nerve and that the deal could be closed in the coming days. I mean, it's possible because most things are actually ready. It's just the draft is ready. You just need to basically get rid of your political alignment stuff. Stop being obsessed with having the UK as your non-member member. We don't want that. And Michel Barnier, who is now in London, is, in the words of Brussels, are intensifying the talks as usual. So we've been hearing intensifying the talks for the past, 10 million years since the negotiations started. And they've been having these virtual meetings with the ambassadors, as I said earlier. The problem is now they're trying to push to say that we're the ones who are ready, and the UK are all over the place. This strategy worked under Theresa May, when the Theresa May's negotiations were actually all over the place. That made sense. Not right now. Doesn't really look like it, is it? Does it? Because there's this thing about fisheries, right? So there's a point about the federation that we have. The chief executive is now saying that to the European Union, you're nothing without us. The line is essentially the fact that if the UK, if there's no proper agreement when it comes to fisheries, and the European Union lose out, Norway and the UK will become the big players in Europe. And that's going to definitely damage the European economies, the EU economies. I don't want to say Europe because there's a difference between Europe and the European Union. Now, as we said, this panic is now happening. So the chief executive of the National Federation Fishermen told the Express that the EU is at risk of harming its own rights if it doesn't back down to the UK. If the EU doesn't agree to the UK's demands to take Britain's waters, then talks would continue, but in the context of annual negotiations, something Brussels has so far refused. They're not going to compromise, they know that. Unless we give something back in return when it comes to political alignment, ECJ, the European Court of Justice, and level playing field, then they might convince Emmanuel Macron to calm down. Because on the other hand, we have Scotland, the SNP, the Scottish Nationalist Party, who are so obsessed with rejoining the European Union. Their new plan is to somehow rejoin as a full member without even actually having independence from the UK. Not really sure how that works. But so the Constitution Secretary is now talking about how we need to basically rejoin the European Union right now. Let's just do it now. Get dressed, everyone. Just get a plane ticket. Just go to Brussels. Doesn't really matter. But they don't know that politicians in the EU don't want them. We've had a number of politicians from different countries, Spain and others, and now one of the German MEPs, Gunnar Beck, who's come out against this idea, saying that why is it that the Scottish Nationalist Party think that is granted? Why do they think that we want them? As we said, German politicians care about control and money. And they see Scotland, especially in independent Scotland, or as I say, isolated Scotland, as a weaker economy. What is the point of Scotland joining the European Union? There's no benefit to the European Union, apart from political point scoring. So this guy, who's also an EU lawyer, has said that Nicola Sturgeon would find it very, very difficult to get an assurance, a promise out of Brussels that should she win a referendum in Scotland, it would be assured a speedy accession to the European Union while remaining free to retain its own currency. But yeah, he's also said that on the other hand, the EU has never been unduly troubled by the accession of economically weaker countries, and so technically speaking, they've done it before. But there's absolutely no benefit for the European Union. So Nicola Sturgeon's obsession and begging Brussels to take them back is not working. There's absolutely no point. There's all these talks about how this guy's also said that you need to respect the referendum. You just had a referendum in 2014, Scotland, and it has to be a once-in-a-lifetime generation sort of thing, and you can't keep having it. He said that the minimum, the next time you should have it is basically 25 years, the next referendum. Because that's a fair point. We're talking about generations. We're not talking about someone getting drunk and having a hangover and then getting recovered and say, let's do it again. It doesn't work that way. This is not eat out or help out. This is diplomacy. So that's the biggest problem we have. And I think that one of the biggest updates that we've seen is that a lot of SNP members and supporters aren't really pushing this line anymore because they know they feel defeated anyway. But there will come a time when they're going to keep pushing for a referendum again. And I'm not really sure how the UK side are going to campaign, because I don't think it's going to be the same way as they did in 2014. But we'll wait and see how this goes on this channel on a daily basis. We'll keep you guys posted. We have started our countdown until the end of December, end of the Brexit transition period. Don't worry about the divisions. Don't worry about people who try to divide our country. think about unity, think about Christmas, think about Christmas shopping. If you haven't done your Christmas shopping, check out the Brexit biscuit people, because they have come together as 4 brothers who were divided on this issue, remain and leave. They got together and they started this business, British made, British people, British biscuit. This is actually one of the best things I've ever, so I've been eating this almost on a daily basis. When you open it, look at great design in this, it's perfect for Christmas present, but the wrapper, it's Article 50, so you have to basically just tear it apart, and then the biscuits are 50-50 EU flag and UK flag. A lot of people who tried this before said, we're not going to eat the EU flag. No, you have to eat the EU flag. That's the whole point of it. So eat the whole thing. The link is in the description. Check out the Brexit biscuit and get your Christmas present for your loved ones, because you only have a couple of weeks left. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi. I'll see you guys in the next video.